What is going on with Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls, and why does it seem like everyone hates this game now? Hey guys, MC Mura here, and today I wanted to talk about the upcoming fighting game Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls. It is a new Marvel fighting game made by ArcSys. The game beta is currently underway, and weird, like I said, it seems like overnight everyone now is displaying hatred towards this game, and the overall attitude, at least on the Twitterverse, seems to be very pessimistic and very dismissive of this game. This beta, the one that's going on right now, was the first time that I myself got to play this game, and I find it to be interesting. Now, let me be honest, this is a game that I was beyond excited about. I already made a couple of videos about Marvel Tokons, a roster wishlist, what I would like to see. And I was a huge fan of the Marvel vs. series, so the idea of a Marvel fighting game being made by ArcSys, that was something that was definitely interesting to me. Now, after I got my hands to play the game, I'm still really excited about it. I am optimistic, although I do have my complaints, but also the game does have its fair share of gameplay issues that I feel like they really need to listen to, at least to please the audience, right? Now, Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls is selling itself as a 4v4 fighting game. Even a big part of the game is how you assemble the team, right? You don't start with all 4 characters. You kind of have to build the team as the match is going on, which is an interesting concept. I have no issues with that. And the devs also said that they don't want to put a huge focus on the tag aspect, which I do see as a bit beef of some folks. For me personally, it doesn't bother me. I don't expect it to be like a Marvel versus game. So the idea of this game being playable as a 1v1 with 3 assists, it doesn't really bother me personally that much. Although I can see how this could annoy some folks because the game said it's a 4v4 fighting game. But the developers openly said it's fine if you want to play one character and have 3 assists because after all, it's like one shared life bar. But where the major issues with Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls come from is how the game feels somewhat clunky, and let me explain. A big part of playing fighting game is the fighting game feeling responsive, the fighting games feeling good and feeling natural. It feels smooth, right? It should feel intuitive. And I feel like these are some of the areas where Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls, I'm gonna say Marvel, I'm not gonna say that whole name every time. It's gonna feel unintuitive. And a big part of that is how the assists work out. So when you're selecting your characters in this game, you select the point character and then 3 assists to make up your team, right? Obviously you can switch into them, but the character's assist will be slotted into like a shooter, an anti-air. A shooter is like a projectile assist, an anti-air assist, and like a unique assist that changes per character, right? I mean, that's interesting. That's kind of similar to how it worked in the prior Marvel games. But what's really weird about it is how restrictive it feels to call the assists, and it doesn't work as you would expect it. So if you're in the neutral and say that you call your shooter assist, your projectile assist, it will come out. But if say that you were doing a projectile and you called it, it's not gonna come out. If you were airborne and you pressed your assist button, instead of doing the projectile or the anti-air assist, it will instead default to a generic aerial projectile. If you were in contact of the opponent, whether that is on block or in hit, during hit stun or block stun, whatever, instead of doing their projectile, defender, anti-air or whatever assist, they will instead default to a generic tackle assist that is a big part of the combo game and the overall pressure game in this game. So it feels like you have these assists, but it doesn't feel good to call them because you pretty much have to not be doing anything to call them out. And if you're trying to do that, that doesn't feel good. Like you can call the assist and then throw the projectile or whip them or whatever, but it doesn't feel natural, right? Now I get why they are doing this because they want the game to be more streamlined, they want everyone to be able to do easy combos, but instead it feels unintuitive. It feels like I don't have control over my characters and stuff isn't working the way I expected it to, right? Another big aspect of of this is the auto combos. Right now, this game have auto combos. I personally never played Dragon Ball Fighters, and I know that watching this video and throughout the whole online discussions, hey Emma, everyone is gonna say more Avatar, the Avatar games, Avatar game, just like Dragon Ball, just like Avatar. These are games that I personally have not played because I have no interest in the source material. So maybe the Avatar game is the best thing that's ever made, but I don't know. I don't have interest. But anyways, I know that Dragon Ball Fighters have the auto combos, and this was a huge complaint back in the day, and it is still a huge complaint with Marvel Tokons because auto combos are extremely good in this game. You pretty much mash your light, you pretty much mash your medium or heavy, and the character will do the auto combo. And auto combos in this game, aside from the issue of them doing too much damage, and in many cases being like better or at least more return of investment worthy than going for the manual combos, auto combos feel like they take away a part of the confirm. Like if I'm trying to do medium, and instead of getting like the down medium, I press the medium twice, I get the auto combo, which doesn't make the game feel that responsive. Come on, Emma. You saved Marvel Rivals before. Now we need you to save Marvel Tokons. We can't take all of this negativity. If you've been liking the video so far, but you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel so much, and well, maybe we'll get some positivity going forward. So between how the auto combo works and how clunky the assist works, the entire game feels kinda clunky, and it doesn't feel that smooth, it doesn't feel that intuitive. And that's why you were saying a lot of folks saying, well, this game needs training mode, and I do absolutely agree, because some folks saying that Marvel Tokons combo system is just like ABC launcher, which is not. This game actually have a lot of room for potential, a lot of room for mix-ups, a lot of room for pressure, but it feels weird. If I got a PlayStation controller right now in my hands, it feels like I'm playing it this way. I'm playing it opposite to what I would normally do. It doesn't feel natural. It feels like I'm fighting the controls. Oh, I have to be in the neutral to use my assist, but then I can move. Oh, I touched him, so now my assist will not come out. Oh, I pressed light twice, so now I'm getting the auto combos. That part of it does a lot of damage to the game, in my opinion. The other major issue with Marvel Token Fighting Souls is the constant gameplay interruption. And Mura, what do you mean by this? I mean the transitions and supers, and it feels like whenever you're playing the game, there is a constant there isn't like a constant flow. It always feels like some cinematic is going on, whether like that screen transition, whether that's super, and they do take like a kind of long time, and they really disrupt the flow of battle. And that's why, in my opinion, by far the best stage in the game, and the one that is the most fun, and that is the one you will see most players play on, is gonna be like the X-Men Mansion, because it is that's the only stage right now that doesn't have stage transitions. When you hit the wall, that you will get the extra character without the extra animation, which I think is really cool. I feel like this is something that they need to look at. The idea is cool, the comic aesthetic is cool and everything, but I feel like it's too invasive to the flow of the actual combat, and it ends up overall kind of hurting the overall game experience. Between me not feeling like I have complete control over what's going on, at least maybe like being too hard to do basic stuff, and the constant interruption, it doesn't make you feel good, right? Now, I don't want this video to be totally negative, because I do think Arc have such a simple fix to this entire solution. Well, just make what Street Fighter did. Have modern controls and classic controls. If you want the easy shortcuts, if you want the auto combos, if you want all of that, put that on the modern controls. And if you simply want to have everything else, if you want to have it the classic way, you can play with the classic control, motion inputs and manual assists and all of that. And voila, game is fixed. And obviously you do have to put more incentive. Currently the game does have, I think like there is a damage buff for doing like the motion inputs, but I still feel like auto combos does way too much damage. And if you're trying to play manually, And some of the inputs and the input buffer, and especially Dragon Punch motions, they feel very hard to get out. It's gonna be discouraging because you're gonna lose to someone botting mashing, and it seems like there's a lot of magnetism where the character, like the auto combo, never whiffs. It will always connect, which makes the overall experience like you're mashing and they're mashing. Yeah. I also feel like that makes the game more repetitive. I know that the idea is they want a game to be like really accessible and everyone can pick up a controller and mash and get whatever, but what ends up happening is that these casuals, what's going on is that they're gonna get bored because the combo routing for most of the characters and the auto combos are just gonna make them bored. They're not gonna learn like the specifics of the characters, which is big part of the fun of video games. Some of the most popular video games of all time are deep, and I think it's about time we have conversations about how negative opinions can widely spread, like it spreads like wildfire when it comes to video games and just the public opinion and perception of games, but also how stuff like auto combos, I never seen a game do well because it have auto combos. Like you can talk about Street Fighter 6 modern controls, which I think is one of the greatest ways to do like simple inputs because it still gives a player enough reason to learn classic, and if you're just relying on the auto combos, it's not that, but also it kind of eases the players in without feeling too invasive or too strong or too discouraging for the player who's trying to play on classic. I'm still really hyped. I'm still really optimistic about Marvel Tokons fighting, so I have a lot of fun. I found Spider-Man to be 10 times more fun than the Capcom Spider-Man, which I'm sorry, but this one is sick. I absolutely love it, and I don't have to go through hoops just to playing. Finally, Spider-Man is playable in a fighting game, which I think like the only games that had somewhat approachable Spider-Man was Marvel superheroes. But every like in the Marvel vs. Capcom series, Spider-Man was just impossible, which I kind of hated, and Storm is a lot of fun. Anyways, what are your thoughts on Marvel Tokons Fighting Souls? What are your experience with the game so far? Obviously, the stuff that talks about itself is there. Like the netcode is good, the visuals are insane, the soundtrack is like I expect better from Arxis, but we'll see. I'm still really excited for this game. I want to see more characters and I want to see them refine the gameplay a little bit because there is potential here for something really fun. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.